It's because I'm a horror writer and I like to share that writing with the world. I like to talk to you about writing. I like to advertise my stories, but I'm also a fan of pro wrestling. I'm also just a horror fan in general. So I love the Halloween series, so I'll talk about that. I love the Child's Play series, the first three Chucky movies. Um, I'm into ghosts and paranormal stuff and stuff like that. Cleveland Browns fan, Buckeyes fan, Chicago Bulls fan. Um, but I make this channel because, again, not only do I want views, not only do I want to monetize this channel so that I can hopefully get, I wouldn't mind making a little money. Um, and again, the way I grew up, and anybody that's watched my channel might have seen other lives or videos where I've talked about, how oppressive it felt, growing up with the dad I did. Um, because again, when you are a child that grows up in an environment that you feel like you can't even watch what you want without being judged, that's bad. Um, again, when I was a kid, I was anywhere between 9 to 11. I can't remember the exact age. I watched Fresh Prince of Bel Air a lot more than Sister Sister, but I was like, I want to check these out because, again, these are current shows at the time in the 90s that, a lot of classmates are watching, talking about at school. And so it's like, hey, I want to watch it. But as soon as my dad would get home from work, I would change it like it was porn because I didn't want to hear his mouth because he's super racist and just even taking away the misogyny, even taking away the racism, even taking away from the narcissism. He still, I don't know, makes mountains out of molehills. I just didn't want to hear his mouth because a long time he looked at my brother and I and he said, "Don't bring home an N word and don't bring home a man." And it's like, again, you can't help your sexuality. Again, my brother and I were both straight, so it's like, that never crossed our mind. You don't have to worry about that. But it's like, and how he feels is how he feels. Okay? But at the same time, it's like, it's not your life, dude. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Setting limits on how you'll love your children is kind of messed up. Um, but it's like, I don't know. And even like my brother said, when he was a kid, he had a crush on Miley Cyrus, and he used to watch the show Hannah Montana. And even that, he just, my brother didn't really want to watch just because um, just how, judgmental my dad is and was and, still is to this day in 2025. But so again, I'm on here talking to this camera because I want to show other people out there, show myself first and foremost, I think. It's okay to like what you like, bro. It really is. And again, I'm sure everyone has a story. They have a friend, family member, whoever, that like you don't know what triggers them or why they do certain stuff, and it really, you probably don't even know what brings this thinking out in these people. But I remember it was Christmas Eve, and I thought I had to be about 16 maybe. And I remember my dad walking by, and I'm watching Halloween 4. Um, and he looks in my room, at the TV, and he's like, oh, it's Christmas Eve. For God's sakes, give the horror stuff a rest. And it was weird. We all have like our comfort movies, comfort genre. Horror has always been my quote unquote comfort genre because, jerks that think they're tougher than everybody else, that make life difficult for people, um, that, have no respect for women. They're just always thinking about their junk and thinking like, oh, and it's just, the rapey, raunchy creeps will get taken care of in a horror movie. Um, and again, it's part of why I like Michael Myers and Halloween so much is because I don't know, not a gentlemanly courtsmanship, but like I don't know, there's something pure about that character that he can control. Because this thing is driven by pure impulse to kill, but he can control a very base and primal, you know, need to reproduce. And you know what I mean? So it's like, so there was always that weird, twisted appreciation I had for the character Michael Myers, which sounds weird. And I bet you I'm literally the only dude on the planet that has that feeling, but that's just me. And again, Halloween 4 was one of my, and still is one of my favorites. Now, again, I'm never quite sure where to put 2 and 4, like which one to put ahead of each other. But in case you want to know my ranking, first one, 2018, Kills, and then either 2 and 4. Uh, I'm going to go with 2 and then 4, but whichever, depending on the day or even the moment or the second, I could change. But it's like, I remember one Christmas having a Halloween poster. And again, it wasn't wrapped, but it was real fun. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. I love the Michael Myers poster. And even again, this year, getting a Halloween Ends action, NECA action figure, which I love NECA. They do a great job. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Um, and it reaffirms, who you are, that it's okay to like what you like, watch what you want. Because again, yes, we're all on this big blue planet for limited time, but I don't know. People are wanting you to accept way bigger things. You know what I mean? Like, people are like, I want you to accept me for being a transvestite from Mars that, you know, rides a giant cactus to work. I mean, and yet I can't watch. Halloween 4 on Christmas Eve, that's just weird. Because again, it's also something that if he even remembers, I don't know. But it's something I would like to know the logic, and come right out with it, because again, this is the same person that, I'm 11 years old and it's the day before Easter. My room was right down the hall at the time at the house we lived up on when we lived in Uplands in Springfield, Ohio. Okay, well, it was between Springfield and Enid, and I remember I wanted this encyclopedia. It was yellow, of serial killers because I'm a big slasher movie fan. I had read up on, knew about some serial killers, and I recognized some of them. They mentioned Charles Manson, Richard Kuklinski, Ted Bundy, Jeffrey Dahmer. I mean, uh, that loser, the Night Stalker, and it would give you little blurbs, like maybe one page, one paragraph, some of them, one or two pages, but it was like a whole bunch of them, like literally an encyclopedia of it. And I was okay, that's interesting. And apparently my mom had bought it for me as an Easter gift. I was like, oh, he's probably going to be a serial killer. And it was just like, what the fuck is your problem? Like, why the fuck are you so goddamn judgmental? You know what I mean? Like, I'm an extremely awkward little boy at the time. I'm an extreme, because again, everyone in school was calling you a fat. Everyone in school, and you feel like an outsider. You feel like somebody that doesn't belong. And here is somebody that is your male role model for life. That again, you never feel like anything you do is good enough. You never feel like, again, has made you feel for years. He's the best football player ever. He's every choice he's made has been right. Whatever everyone else does is wrong, and they're stupid and they're insignificant. Um, and again, it's something that hurt people because this is a person, 7 years old. Uh, he's the middle child of 7 kids. His dad left when he was 7 years old. Okay. Um, and that's traumatic. When his mom died at 50 of cancer, and he loved his mom, and that's great. At 14, I remember it was his stepdad's birthday, and my dad wrote a story for him, and the guy's name was Fred, and apparently he told my dad, he was like, "What do you want to write for?" Um, which later on, my dad tried to tell me, he's like, well, you only write because your mom and I support you. And it's like, motherfucker, I would be writing whether or not you like supported me or gave me permit. You know what I mean? Like, no. So that was a bold-faced lie. So again, when you guys watch my shit, you guys can tune out anytime, okay? It won't hurt my feelings because right now, especially this video, I'm rambling, which when I talk about this, I just kind of ramble. But like I said, with my end goal being, get this crap out. And again, it's something that I should let go of. It's something that, what's past is past, and it's not you. It's, the other person's, failure to, recognize the beauty in you and what you bring to the table. Because again, like a creative writing professor, Chris Beige, who was apparently some Ohio poet of the year back in the day, said, you're like a well of creativity. Because again, back then I was like maybe 20, so I was nowhere near as polished a writer as I am now. And I'm still not the most polished writer at 37, but I am a lot more polished than I was. And he was one that was big on you should just try to be a poet in a nice way, concentrate more on being a poet than a fiction writer. And right now I'm writing what's probably going to be a novella, probably about 60 pages story right now. Just finished up Nightshade. Awesome vampire story, about 40 pages. Go to Amazon, buy that SOB. You won't regret it. It's a lot of fun. A lot more of a coming of age story with a vampire backdrop. Really, I don't think you'll mind it. I mean, the vampire scenes are like milder than Dracula, I think, the 31 movie. So, I mean, that ain't nothing. But it's a lot of fun. I'm going from London to Paris to Tokyo.